eat food, it's not yet in our body. It's in the donut, right? And it's got to go through the walls of the donut to get into the bloodstream so we can use the vitamins and minerals to make new brain cells and muscle cells and all of that. The inside of the tube is lined with shag carpeting. Big, thick shags of carpeting. They're called the villi and the microvilli. The microvilli are coated with a cheesecloth. And our grandmothers used to pour gravy into a cheesecloth, and the liquid would come through, and the clumps of flour and stuff that didn't break down would stay on the other side. So the gravy was very smooth to pour on the pot roast and everything. You know, that's cheesecloth. Our shags in the intestines have cheesecloth. That's why your intestines are 20 to 25 feet long. One reason is because some foods break down really quickly. Other foods take a long time to break down. They have to go further down the intestines. Proteins are like a pearl necklace. Hydrochloric acid made in your stomach undoes the clasp of the pearl necklace. Now you have a string of pearls. Our enzymes act as scissors to break off each pearl of the pearl necklace. They're called amino acids. They're really tiny little pearls, and they go right through the cheesecloth into the bloodstream. Bigger clumps of pearls can't get through the cheesecloth. They have to go further down the intestines to be broken down small enough to get through the cheesecloth into the bloodstream. That's how we absorb our vitamins, our minerals, our proteins, our fats, is that they get broken down until they're small enough to go right through the cheesecloth, okay? What happens when humans eat wheat? Every human that eats wheat, not just the celiacs, but every human that eats wheat gets tears in the cheesecloth every time they're exposed to wheat. But we have an entire new body every 7 years, right? Some cells turn over very quickly, like the inside lining of the gut. Every 3 to 7 days, you have a whole new lining to your gut. It's like the skin of a snake, just kind of sheds right off. And some cells, like your bone cells, are very slow to rebuild. So every 7 years, you have a new body. So you eat wheat, you tear the cheesecloth, but it heals. Fastest growing cells in the body. So you had toast for breakfast, it heals. You have a sandwich for lunch, it heals. Pasta for dinner, it heals. Croutons on your salad, it heals. A cookie, but it heals day after week after month after year after year after year, until one day you don't heal anymore. Now, when you don't heal, you get tears in the cheesecloth. That's pathogenic intestinal permeability. Now what happens? You've got these pearl necklaces of food being clipped into small pieces, going down the tube of the intestines, down the donut, all the way until they're small enough to go through the cheesecloth. But now some of these larger clumps of food get through the tears in the cheesecloth into the bloodstream. They're not supposed to. They're called macromolecules, big molecules. They're not supposed to get through, but tears in the cheesecloth occur, and these tears in the cheesecloth can occur and stay torn when you lose tolerance and you don't heal anymore, when you're 2 years old, 22 years old, 72 years old. It just depends on when you cross that threshold as to when this happens, but it happens for everyone. So now you've got the tears in cheesecloth that don't heal, the macromolecules get through into the bloodstream, and your immune system says, whoa, what's this? This is not something that's good for me. I better fight this. I can't make new brain cells or new muscle cells out of this raw material. I better fight this. And now you make antibodies to that macromolecule. And if it was a tomato, now you're sensitive to tomatoes. Or now you're sensitive to chicken. Or now you're sensitive to beef or to bananas. It doesn't matter what it is. If you get macromolecules getting into the bloodstream, your immune system trying to protect you says, I got to fight this thing. This is not good for me. That's the person that gets a 90 food IgG blood test done for sensitivities, and it comes back, they're sensitive to 20, 25 foods. They say, oh my God, that's everything I eat. Of course it is. Your immune system's trying to protect you. So you don't shut down the immune system. You stop throwing gasoline on the fire and allow the tears in the cheesecloth to heal. Then, 6 months to a year later, you do the blood test again. Now you're sensitive to 2 foods, maybe 3. So you want to have a healthy environment of your gut. That's called the microbiome, because when you have a bad environment, you tear the cheesecloth just because of a bad environment in your gut. right? So it's not only wheat that tears the cheesecloth. There are many, many things. GMO foods will tear the cheesecloth. The glyphosate and the inert ingredients in Roundup will tear the cheesecloth. Chlorine will tear the cheesecloth. There are many, many different compounds that can tear the cheesecloth. We just know for a fact that all humans tear the cheesecloth when they eat wheat, every time they eat wheat. So when you cross that threshold, and you can't compensate anymore and heal the cheesecloth, then you get pathogenic intestinal permeability. Remember, intestinal permeability is normal, but excessive permeability is not. So now you get pathogenic intestinal permeability. It gets into your bloodstream. Your body makes antibodies to that food, whatever it is. And then there's a mechanism called cross-reactivity. So let's take the example of wheat. The most common clump of the pearl necklace that your immune system will make antibodies to is 33 amino acids long.